All right. Hello, everybody. This is Chloe, and we are going to be talking about the Queen of the Moon Oracle. I have had a very busy few weeks since I got the Oracle, but I gotta say, Rockpool Publishing does not disappoint. So I've already opened mine. I've had it for a bit, only spent a little bit of time with it so far. But I really like many, the matte finish with a little bit of gilding on the box, or however they imprinting on the box. Stacy Demarco is a very well-known Oracle creator and witch and representative of the pagan community, and I have only been drawn to certain decks of hers. I think it's just difference of interest. There's nothing wrong with the decks that I've seen, and I have friends who really enjoy her. I think it's the Greek, there's a feminine and a masculine gods oracles that she's done, but this one, the Queen of the Moon Oracle, is really cool. There was a couple different moon decks that came out not too long ago, and if you haven't seen some of the other reviews yet, one of the nice things I really like about the guidebook in this one is, well, it's all color. There's Rockpool Publishing is pretty good about that. Even just the designs on the edges are a nice, I would say, like a tannish brown. And then when you get to, there's a few card spreads. The 4 element spread, the one they call the 3 moon or full moon 3 card draw. Let's see, what was the, yeah, those are the main ones. Then there's one traditional 7 card spread and full lunar cycle with 3 cards in the middle. The nice thing about this that I really like is it's, oh, and then a seasonal spread, which is another 3 card spread. There you go. And one of the nice things I like, I'm going to put my other light on. Oops, sorry about that, folks. This one there, a little bit more white light. Okay. Another nice thing is that it's going to be hard to tell with this first one, but the cards are color, and there is a little bit of a tan. There's this tan color here in the lighter for the quotes, or the, like, I freely release what I no longer need. And this card is the void that it's talking about. Oh, and one other thing is I have this app, but it's really cool. They have this app where you can basically kind of sample their decks and get the meanings and almost do like a card a day or 3 cards a day type thing. So if you want to sample the decks or look through them, you can on their app. It's Rockpool Reading Cards. There you go. And this came in the box, and it's a free app. I had this way before I got this little post-it here, but they have instructions for both iPhone users and Android users, so they're very inclusive in that way. And I do like their app. Been using it for some time because I have like the Heal Yourself reading cards and one other. Can't remember off the top of my head. So one thing I like that's different from the other ones, it's a smaller book, more contained, sized around the actual deck and not overly big. It's not a magnetic closed box, but it's really good. You know, it's a, you know, it closes. It has the thumb indents, which are important because if you don't have that, you can get a box that's stuck. I love the inside because it's silvery, and we're dealing with moon energy, so that makes sense to me. And another one of those cool boxes that has a couple of 3 sample cards on the back. I like those kind of details because it gives you some good first impressions on whether you might like it. Now, the cool thing about the book is this is a colored book, but the pages are a matte finish, not a shiny, like, I don't know. There's finishes on some books where the paper is very plasticky or very shiny. I don't know if that's to try to help it last longer or what, but I like a bit of a matte finish so it's not so like I have to be careful how I have it in the light or it shines and reflects at me. And I mean, it has the usual, this setup with this one it's 3 layered actually. So one, you have the cards number from 1 to 44, I believe. Yeah, to 44. There are no borders except for on the backs, which is fine. I like a back that's designed. Don't mind that at all. I like that it has the full cycle of the moon on the back. I even like the colors. The fronts are gorgeous without any frames. And it's just full color. And one of the interesting things is, okay, so you have the numbers on the top. That I think that's mostly easy reference for looking up the cards. But these are following the cycle of the moon. So there's that as well. So if you were wanting to learn the cycle of the moon, this would be a pretty good deck for that. And also it has the labeling of the different moon phases, dark moon, new moon, and so on, right above a meanings word or 2-word phrase kind of thing. So this is the void, and that makes sense for the dark moon. I'm going to try to switch my hands to make this work a bit better. Left-handed, ambidextrous, so I'm always trying to figure out what side. So as you can see, the one cool thing about the dark moon is that you can see the stars better if you live somewhere where you don't have light pollution in the sense of being in a city and not being able to see these past the city lights. So it's a really beautiful card. So if you're looking for a deck where you can follow the cycles of the moon, you can totally do that with this deck. They also have cards for the every month. So all the phases. And these were very well set up to be intuitively read as well, with key terms. And as I said, this one says waxing crescent 1. It says realization. It has an awesome intuitive portrait style picture to work with, and the phase of the moon is there. So I feel like whether you're wanting this deck to learn about the moon or to have an intuitive oracle, or as a piece you use for spell work, ritual work, meditation, I feel this deck could cover all those things and very easily. So this is Acceptance with Waxing Crescent 2. I don't know that I'm going to go through all of this. There's some really cool walkthroughs elsewhere, but let's see if we can spin through. So like I said, I'm just going to flick through real quick and try to give you as clear a picture as possible. I know I got shiny light going on, so. And I really like some of these. Some of these I have to take longer looking at because like this one, there's so much going on. But even if they don't have like the moon in perfect, like the moon is shaped like it should be, but then there's a little bit more art and intuitive detail going on. They have the Waxing Crescent 5 and then Nourishment. That every single card has what phase of the moon this is supposed to represent in meaning of the card. So this one's Nourishment. So there's food, fruits, water. Really cool. Vegetarian dream, perhaps. Although I still don't know what is that thing on top of this stone egg shape. That little lump of whatever. Maybe it's just a stone representing nature, that kind of thing. Anyways, so most of the symbolism I get, there's 1 or 2 cards that have a random symbol. I'm not exactly sure what it is, or maybe I'm thinking about it too much. But I like this artish piece. This is the Waxing Crescent 6. And again, all the phases of the moon represented. So I'm just going to let this show, and I'm going to speed through this until we can get to the seasonal moon cards. Yeah. It's really beautiful artwork. And I like the details. I like, this one's really cool. This one says fear. This is another one in Rockpool has a card that represents like shadow work stuff that has a similar feel to this card, but it looks pretty different. I should probably pull it up together. There's some similarities and a lot of differences going on too. So here is bonding. Oh, sorry, boundaries. Yeah, literally, she's inside a bubble. Protected. I like that. So I feel whether you're trying to get the moon energies or come on. Yeah, it's jumping. I'm sorry. I don't have enough space here to set it up the way I would like to. I do like this card because it has like the moon moving through different phases. This is the waning gibbous for, because it has every, sorry, my arms are just very sore today. Focus. Not very focused. Sorry, guys. I love that. Like she's in this ball, but like the feeling of being underwater and yet the butterfly of focus on there. So not letting distractions keep you from your focus, perhaps. I like these kind of decks where they're a little bit different, but still you can get messages from them and the meanings are not that hard to really get. Action. Having the words on there is nice. I like that it isn't overly there though. Like you could totally be going like this and you can get a feeling of action from the card, right? And whether you're looking at the sign or knowing the phases of the moon just by looking at it, which is a good skill to have, I like that it literally can represent every phase of this deck. Okay, power. Hide. It's pretty. Here is. There we go. Self-reflection. There's a lot of things going on with that one. A mirror, water up to their shoulders, both of them being shown. And it's just really good. So I've only worked with this deck a bit since I've gotten it, but I really do love the art. The artwork is just stunning. And I really like how the moon is shown in every single one. Some of them just seem, just the moon itself was just not enough for me. I need a bit more stuff going on. And this one pretty much filled that need. And I needed also kind of a darker deck to work with. This isn't dark in the sense of shadow work versus light work. This is just, you know, a dark setting because it's dealing with the moon mostly at night. Although some of these remind me of like right around sunset or maybe in the morning, different times when you can see the moon. This one I find very interesting because it's the plants and their shapes and natural forms that is forming this face you see here. I think it's really well done, and it does have a different look to the rest of the deck, but I still feel that it works. I don't feel a deck has to be all the same. Hello, Andrea. Is that Aria? I almost said your name wrong. I'm so sorry. Aria, thank you for stopping in and watching. I hope my camera's reacting a little better now that it's gotten a bit of a rhythm. Yeah, I really like this bundle on the back. Resilience, tough time, or a heavyweight. Oh, cool. Not the best with names some of the time. Yours wasn't too hard. Yeah, yeah, so again, this deck, I'm just going to go ahead and show them. I'm not going to talk about every single one, just so you can see that all the phases are here. And then I will most likely talk a little bit more about the other ones. But I just really, this is gratitude. So showing gratitude. And it's interesting. This is actually intentionally blurred back there. That's not just my camera doing that. That person in the background is purposely blurred. So that's an interesting detail. The forefront image is the clearer image in this piece here. And I think that's kind of an interesting choice. Although the moon is very clear in the background. So this person is blurred, but the moon's very distinct. The hand image and some of the other parts are very distinct. So there's some meaning there. Have you been considering this deck, Aria? Oh, this is really cool. This reminds me kind of part of the theme of that tarot deck that came out a year or so ago. Was it the Ostara tarot? Had a lot of birds, and there was a nest one too. But this one's protection. Interesting. Come on, silly camera. So again, so there's a number on each one. They have the phase of the moon in like really small letters because I don't think it's supposed to dominate the image. And then they have the meaning here. So this is meant to be like an oracle, but this is also supposed to be like a multi-use piece of being able to follow the moon and getting in sync with the seasons. Here's the waxing crescent 2. So that was crescent 1 and this is crescent 2. And this is resistance. Sorry, it's reversed on my screen. No, this is not a general reading. I'm actually just showing the deck first. I may pull a card or two towards the end because I had a few people that follow me who just like the way I show decks and stuff and my insights. I actually like the cardstock of Rockpool Publishing. Oh, this is really pretty. I love it's so interesting. This reminds me of one of those galaxy pictures. Like, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. I did do mini readings yesterday. But today this is sort of to show insight and show the deck. And I'm trying to get through the main. This first part is the phases of the moon. This is a moon deck. It's called the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Oh, come here. And oh, this one's this is very pretty. And there's like a sphere around her. She's in meditation or peace. I love the nature included here, the galaxies in the background. It's really cool. Very peaceful card. Come on, focus. Sometimes my camera is really into focusing, and sometimes it just is not. Or it's too focused on me. I hate it when that happens. But it does. So it's a borderless deck, except for on the backs. They do have a really cool continuous moon design. It's in blues and like tan to brownish colors on the elements, the accent elements. This one's really cool. It says hunger. This is the wolf moon. Okay, so we have finally gotten to the, okay, so waning crescent 5 was the last of the phases of the moon cards. And yeah, the artwork is fantastic. I really enjoy Rockpool Publishing decks so far. So this one is Hunger Moon, and this moon, let's refer to the book real quick. I believe, I'm not sure in what order they're doing the moons, because some people follow the moons from January on, and then some people do it differently. So give me one moment. And again, the book is matte. I like that. There's a lot of color inclusive books, but many of them are kind of a shiny finish, which I don't really enjoy. But this one's a matte finish. The cards are glossed, or I don't know what you want to call it. They do have a shininess, as you can see. You have to be a little careful of how you show it in the light. Okay, so yeah, it starts off with Wolf Moon, which come on, I just want to know what month you are. Let me see if it's in the back. Nope. Okay. Oh, and so this is interesting. In the table of contents of the book, you have all the usual suspects, the introduction, how to use the cards. There are 28 cards representing the different phases of the moon each day. And then card 29 starts off the moons. So we have, we'll have Wolf Moon, as you say, and I gotta take time to actually, I started reading this the other day, but in my habit, I tend to like to intuitively get a deck a bit before I dive into the guidebook. Some decks I will do the opposite, but this one I felt like I really just wanted to make sure I could intuitively read it, that it wasn't just a moon deck, okay? Because I definitely wanted a kind of a darker feeling, and again, not shadow and light deck, but like kind of a winter deck. I was looking for a winter deck, and this isn't necessarily winter, but having dark colors and stuff, that's what was drawing me. And I just want to see, oh, one interesting thing is they talk about a companion stone or metal at the end, and then for this moon, for Wolf Moon, they say Amazonite. Yeah, Amazonite. That's what it is. It says, I recognize all the I hunger for. This it comes from the an old wise Cherokee of the First Nations of the U.S. and speaking to his grandson. So it has a story about where this came from, and then it also has a bit of a meaning. Actually, it has the word that's on the card, and then it has a bit of a meaning, and then it has a phrase. I recognize all that I hunger for. And then it goes into a story of where this came from. But it does not say which moon it is, so that's a little off-putting. But if you keep it in order, and that's very easy to do with the numbers on the top, this would be Hunger Moon, and I'll probably go on, I usually like going like Farmer's Almanac and finding all the moons, doing it that way. I would have preferred them at least have which moons are what. And if you know your moons, that's awesome. You won't need to worry about it then. But so this one is Wolf Moon. We'll move on. Purity Moon, or sorry, Purity is the meaning of the snow moon, and it is so gorgeous. I really like the details in this one. I like a snowy scene, and there's even like a woman in the background just kind of enjoying the energy of the season. There's a lot going on in this. All right, and then we have Worm Moon. Oh, that's gorgeous. Almost like an earth goddess energy going on there. But so this is Worm Moon. So I'm assuming you could also think of it as soil moon, or, you know, worms help prepare the soil for growth and all that kind of cool stuff. And again, it's showing them, these are like, I want to say the full moons of that month, but mostly it's the energy of the month that it's representing. So this is Egg Moon, Trust. Oh, it's so adorable. Okay. Oh, two people clasping each other there. There is ducks in a nest. So Egg Moon. Oh, I like that. And then we have Blossoming. So Flower Moon and Blossoming. So we're going into spring, the last two cards, right? Oh my gosh. There's a lady with very tall hairdo playing a violin. If you can't see the details at all, I'm sorry, my camera is focusing on everywhere but where I want it to. And I know it's because I'm flicking in and out with this cards. Having really shiny cards makes it harder to interact with your cameras. That's for dang sure. I mean, I could try doing this whole put your hand behind the thing, and I don't have very big hands though, so it's not very effective. There you go. Maybe that helps. I like these little focusing, like here's the label area. It doesn't take away from the art and even the detail up there. It's just, you know, giving you the info you need, helping you focus a little bit on if you need that without being overwhelming to everything like a big border would do. Just a nice little accent. Here is Hot Moon. Some of these I had never heard before, so I'm not sure if they're modern interpretations. And this is Extremes. Kind of like that. Extremes. Here is Thunder Moon. Boy, I really get that off of this with the lightning everywhere, movement. I think they represented this really well. Thunder Moon. You got that birds in motion there. Ooh. Oh, there. You really synced up there. Something about the colors on this one my camera liked. Yeah, these are very beautiful. Green Corn Moon. There you go. Hopefully it'll focus on this. Green Corn Moon. You got Patience, I think. Yeah, looks like Patience. Oh, I love that. This is one of those decks where I think you could definitely get an intuitive hit off the artwork, and the energies of the person you're reading for, but you also sometimes maybe get grabbed by something going on in the picture and think about it a bit more. Basically, I'm saying there's layers. There's layers to these pieces that I like. I don't like the glare so much. I wish these were matte, but you know, sometimes people feel their artwork shows up better in gloss. So what can you do? Okay, so this one is Harvest Moon, and just looking at the headpiece, you might have been able to deduce that. All the fruit and other things going on there. It's really pretty. Yeah. And here is, come on, so it's not sliding apart that easy, and I feel 2 cards. Could be my hands. All right, so we have Hunter Moon. Ooh, oh, I love all the animals. I love this card. Yeah, this to me feels like fall. What with the leaves going orange. It's kind of, yeah, this just feels like fall to me. I love the fox, the orangey reds going on here. The animals are just adorable. Oops. Like I said, my hands are a little bit clumsy today. So yeah, I really, oh my gosh, there's like antlered, like elk and deer, and there's a, I want to say like a sow or a boar, foxes, raccoons, squirrels. Love squirrels. Lots of and rabbit. There's rabbit right by her, right there in the corner there, right by the boar. Oh, there's so much awesome detail. Oh, good. That was a good position. You can see it there. There you go. Finally. Abundance is the meaning of this card. Yeah, I'm just so glad. I really needed something that could reflect the seasons in this way. I like the moon aspect, but I really like these moons titles and on here and the meanings being shown. Beaver Moon. The only thing I don't like about this is there's no beaver anywhere, although they do have like building plans. So if you're thinking of being constructive and building something and hard work, or being in a mental space of creativity, those kind of messages, yes. Creation, the meaning of the card. I think that comes through just fine. I just wish, if we're going to show beaver mood, could you please show a beaver? Even if it's just a little creature showing up in the corner or something. I like animals in my decks. Maybe that's what's pulling me. Okay. All right. All right. So then we have a long night moon. When there's a rabbit or a hare in the corner. I really like that. I love the sun showing a ring around the moon, like an eclipse. Yeah, lunar eclipse or whatever kind of eclipse. Oh, it's so pretty. And this art is definitely different than the others. There's a few pieces that are, but I like it. Queen of the Moon. Okay, so now the last 4 cards are actually kind of, if I remember, deity forms. Or 2 deities, and then the blue moon and the super moon, okay? So here's the Queen of the Moon, and her energy is sovereignty. And this is the image that is on the book and the box. And I think it's gorgeous. It's one of the reasons I considered getting it. I do like the symbolism in the background. I wish it was a little easier to read because I kind of recognize the markings, but I'm not really into high ceremonial stuff, although the markings kind of remind me of. And we're not going to stay on much longer here, folks. So masculine. And the masculine energy, this is the lunar god. So that was Queen of the Moon, and this is the lunar god. I like the phases of the moon going on here. I don't think they really had that in the Queen of the Moon card. I like the details. She's actually holding moon in her arms, and then it's almost like a moon. Oh, the same moon. Now, here's one thing. I wish they had shown different parts of the moon. Like here is the moon, and here's the moon, and it's the same moon. But I wish they had shown maybe one side of the moon here and another side of the moon here or something. I don't know. But otherwise, I really like it. There's nothing wrong with that picture. It's just would have been a personal preference thing. Everybody has their little quirkiness. So yeah, I do love the kind of galaxy energy that's being shown here, or some kind of flowing energy that's being shown. And, there's 2 people, like shadow people in the background. It's really cool. And the phases of the moon. Okay, and so here is a blue moon, the unexpected. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, so 2 ladies. It's kind of weird. They're not wearing tops. And one has a tattoo on her back. It's kind of hard to see it. You'll see more detail in person. I'm assuming the glare. There's a forest scene in front of them, in the globe in front of them. And there's like a blue aura in the inner border here with that white border on the outside. And it's like electricity zinging around the sphere. It's very interesting. And it's like, here's the moon. And I'm not sure if that's Earth behind it or maybe another moon, but the details are really cool. Like I said, I'm still taking this deck into myself. It is so gorgeous that I'm always seeing something new every time I look at it, just because I feel that they've done a really good job of multi-layering without it making it feel like Photoshop or something odd like that. It's very inclusive artwork. Some of it feels more real and dynamic, and some of it feels more illustrative. I don't mind having a blend of that at all. This is the super moon. Thus, the moon is large, right? It's really big and present. And the stars and everything. I love the starry skies. So, okay, that is this deck. Now, I love that each moon theme is there. I love that the extra cards are something we can relate to, in the sense of, I don't know about having the Queen of the Moon and then having the lunar god. I'm going to have to read the book. I've read some of the book, but I was trying not to get too many of the meanings because I was trying to see how intuitively I could work with it. And I'm going to start going through the meanings. if anybody was here, I would ask them, which card would you like me to explore? But since no one is here, maybe, and it's in order, so that makes it hard for picking a card. But let's see. I feel right now we would be, there's abundance, beaver moon. Longest night moon is just about where we are, I'm very sure. So this, I feel, would be the December moon, the winter solstice, longest night of the year, right? Longest night moon. This is where we're at right now. Should we read the meaning? I think we should, and then I will end this. All right. So going to longest night is number 40, which makes it a little easier to find. Darkness, that makes sense, right? Darkness. Love that hair, it's so cute. Let's see. You are entering a time of introversion, a leaner time, or a time to turn inward to plan and strategize. Okay, you two, you were doing so good. Only a couple more minutes. It is a time to do shadow work, which will bring big dividends later on. Release what no longer works for you. The darkness, and this is the phrase, or like a meditation phrase or whatever, a meaning, you know, an affirmation to work on for this month. The darkness needs to be there. Oh, there you go. As much as does the light. The darkness needs to be there as much as does the light. I live by this. I feel bombarded by the light a lot. I know it's necessary so we can see things and stuff, but I actually keep my room in shadow with only lights in certain corners of the room because full-on lights bother me a lot. So, okay. I'm going to put that to the side so I can finish. All right, so the next part of it was, I'm going to go ahead and read this and then we'll be done, okay? It says, for like the story of this card, and I'm just going to say really quick, the companion stone or metal is onyx, according to this book. So the longest night of the moon is connected to onyx. And this says, one of the earliest human fears is said to be the fear of the dark. We fear what we can't see, and we fear what may be hidden. In reality, the dark is as important as the light. In nature, there are many nocturnal animals that go about their business of living under the moon, not the sun. The darker times of the lunar and seasonal cycles signal a time to naturally turn inwards, to stay close to home, to look closely at ourselves and to plan for the light. In the northern hemisphere, the long night moon usually occurs in December around the winter solstice. This is when the nights are indeed long and the hours of sunshine short. And let me tell you, when I went to Iceland, that could not be truer. It's cold, and people would begin to be snowed in. It is during these long nights we can begin to do our shadow work, undertaking the self-reflection needed to identify what isn't working for us and what might be causing us pain. This could be a bad habit, a destructive pattern, a reoccurring useless fear, or anything that holds us back from being the best we can be. Okay. Once we see these aspects of ourselves in the dark, we can simply decide whether they must go. So we can decide to release them once and for all. We get to transform. So that's really cool. As I said, you could definitely work with this in a constructive way if you are on any spiritual explorative path, but in a pagan path, this would be very helpful as well. If you're trying to get synced with the seasons, this would be great. If you're trying to get into sync with the moon cycle and the seasonal changes, this would be great. I feel if you're doing the Druidic, there's a free course of Druidry through the Druid Network, and I feel like these would be good for people maybe because it is written for the European, basically the Druid Network free training on their website is written from England or from a European standpoint. So having another standpoint, that this lady lives in Australia, but she's being inclusive of the moon itself. So that works. And it makes sense to me. But it's interesting. She wrote it for the Northern Hemisphere, but I know she lives in Australia. So I'm glad that you put it from our perspective, but it might have been neat to see both. Although it might have also been a little bit busy, but I wouldn't mind that. I kind of get why she only did one, because she was already representing all the seasons in each moon. So now I can correct myself in saying that it looks like if you actually read the part that talks about what the moon is about, or the section in the longer part, which is past, like, again, it had the title, the number, and then a meaning word or short 2-word phrase. And then it says kind of like the hunter moon says, take advantage of this time of abundance is all around you. Possibilities and opportunity are everywhere. You're open and responsive to the abundance around you. There's enough for everyone. So there's like a meaning / directive, more like a bigger explanation. And then it has that affirmation / meditation phrase in the pale tan or brown. And then is the explanation, and it's only 2 pages for each one. And then at the very end, basically the explanation is where the hunter moon or the title came from, and in the case of the different seasonal or monthly moon names. And then, like in this case, as you read it, you may figure out, like this one finally, oh yeah, towards the end it says, this moon normally occurs in October in the Northern Hemisphere, the hunter's moon. And so before the winter snows. And so was before the winter snows. And then it shows the companion stoner metal citrine. So it is set up very well if you take the time to read it. Again, I had not read it too much. I do like how it's set up. Again, I wish it wasn't glossy, but I don't mind it too much. It's just a little difficult for those of us who show cards in video form, because we then have to get the right tilt and not blind people with the gloss. But the gloss is not hyper. I mean, it's just gloss. It's not the kind where you can't move it at all and you're just reflecting all over. You can get a point where the reflection is not bad. And that's workable for me. I like that the cardstock isn't too thick, but it doesn't feel so light that I'm afraid I'm going to bend and bust this deck. It does have a bit of give, but it's not very flexy. Like my American Oracle of the Shapeshifters has a very flexy, I don't ever have to worry about bending it bad. But most other decks have a bit stiffer form to them. Now, I did notice this has 1 or 2 cards that are a little bit scuffed on the edge. It's not bad. It's not even that noticeable unless you're actually holding the cards. But I have seen some people had, I guess the coating on this had peeled a bit away from the cards. But I've also heard that the publisher was really great at responding and helping deal with those kind of issues and making sure you get a good quality replacement, or I can't remember if it was a whole deck or just replacement cards for the ones that were messed up. You might look around at some reviews and find that out. So like I said, I actually feel the shuffles really well. I had to put it back in order so I could show it today. And I kind of wanted to work through it. But like I said, I do kind of a ruffle shuffle from the sides because I have smaller hands. But this is actually a pretty good sized deck for me when it comes to the size of the deck. I have small hands, so most decks are large, unless they're a small Lenormand or a mini Oracle size. And yeah, it shuffles really, it's just nice in the hands. And it looks so cool when it's shuffling too because of the moon design. It gives it like a really cool effect. Let's see, just for funsies. Ooh, the unexpected. There you go. really beautiful deck. I'm very happy I got it. I hope you guys will give it a try. I know there's a really cool decks out there. This one appealed to me more because I felt like I could both study the moon cycles, the seasons, and use it intuitively and not just based off of meanings or memorization. I do tend to do all that kind of work to different levels and degrees. Stacy Demarco is a really awesome practitioner in the community when it comes to the craft and oracle creator, and just a very awesome woman. And the artist, oh my goodness, you know what? I did not remember seeing who the artist is. It's probably here. Hold on one moment. Edited by Lisa Mackin. Designed by Jessica Lee. You know what? I don't. The illustrator. Kinga. Oh, I'm sorry. I cannot pronounce this for the life of me. But that's her name. Or his name. I don't know. Hungarian artist who lives with her American husband and son in the United States since August 1995. So that's the artist. So she, an American artist working with an Australian creator. All right. So lovely deck. Love the colors and tones of the box as well. I like that. I kind of wish that it was matte like the box, but I do appreciate the depth of color. I love a colorful deck, and I feel that this will be a great addition. And if you'd like to be able to look at it in better detail before you buy, get the app. It's free. It's totally free. It's both in the iStore and the Android store, or sorry, App Store and the Google Play. And I've had the app for a while, and I really enjoy using it when I don't have my cards with me. And I've been using it for the Heal Yourself Oracle cards and the, oh, what is the other one? It's killing me. Well, I'll talk to you about it next time. I want to let you go. This has gone on long enough. I hope you enjoyed this basically quick walkthrough that I tried to make quick, never quick, and then insights into the different aspects of the deck. And I wish you a very happy holiday season. And I will most likely be on again before winter solstice and Yule. And yeah, have a great day. Bye-bye.